Hey Rasmanites, how's it going? Today I'm very excited because I'm going to be able to do something that has been one of my most requested types of episodes to do since I started this channel, but I was never able to properly master the desktop recording software. Well, I believe that I have done a good enough job in that now. So today will be my very first Sony Vegas tutorial. I often get asked how I do such cool things that you all see inside that program. So today I'm going to show you how to do this. Very cool, huh? It looks complicated, but it's actually not. It's something that will be very easy to pick up on and do if you have Sony Vegas Pro. The version of Vegas we'll be using for this tutorial is Sony Vegas Pro 10, and the desktop sharing software that I have and will be using is Snagit 9. So today we'll be taking a look at what I call the I'm on fire effect, a Sony Vegas tutorial on the Rasman's reality. Okay everyone, so here we are in Sony Vegas Pro, and as I mentioned, the following effect can only be achieved in the Pro version of Vegas, not the Platinum version, and we'll cover why when we get to that point. As you can see, Pro starts with a blank timeline, allowing you to control how many tracks you need for audio and video. For the purposes of this effect, we need 5 to start, even though we're only going to be using 4 in the end. Again, I'll cover why when we get to that point. So, to enter the tracks, we simply right click, insert video track, insert video track, insert video track, insert audio track, insert audio track. Okay, so there are 5, 3 for video, 2 for audio. Now, of course, we want to go up here, click on Import Media, and the first thing that opens up is my raw footage file folder. Now, the video that you saw of me performing the effect actually was shot after this capture for time purposes, so we're going to be using a different piece of raw footage here. We'll just select the raw footage from the Arch Attaway 87 and myself's review of Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, which you guys may or may not have seen yet. At this point, I'm not sure, but this is just a piece of raw footage of myself from that joint review. We want to click the Import Media tab again, go to Desktop, click inside the Rasman's Reality folder, and here's where we'll get both the sound effect for the fire and the fire footage itself. Now, I should mention that you can create a manual fire effect in Sony Vegas Pro. However, I found it not to be as fluid as an actual video of actual fire. So that's what I recommend using. The link to the fire footage will be down below in the description box, as well as the link to the video in which I ripped the fire sound effect from. Okay, now that all of our media is in our timeline, we can start to perform our effect. So the first thing we want to do is take the raw footage and drag it down here to the third video timeline, like so. Now I'm going to pick a random starting point, something where I know I'm good and centered on screen. There we go. And to create less congestion, we'll simply shrink the video file down on both sides, because we're not going to need that long a video for me to show you how this effect works. So we'll just do it to about here. Then we'll take our alternate timeline video and drag it back to the beginning of the timeline, like so. And whoops, it shrunk up the timeline there. I clicked it a little bit too fast. And we'll drag the cursor back to the beginning of the timeline, like so. Now, the next thing we want to do is create the text that will add the overlay text to give the effect more coolness and have more elements to it. Now, Sony Vegas Pro offers two types of texting effects. It offers the prototype titler, which actually allows you to do more with your text. However, when you're creating a manual effect, the prototype titler will actually negate that manual effect. So for the purpose of this one, we're just going to use the normal text inside Sony Vegas. So to do that, we click on the Media Generators tab. We go to Text. We select Default Text. And we drag it down into our second video timeline. The text defaults at 72. That's a little bit too big for our purposes. We'll take it down to 48. And now we'll edit the text so that it says what we want it to say. We'll make it say the same thing it said in the intro footage. I'm on fire! Explanation point. Now we simply go to placement, and this is where we move the text down to the center of the screen, down below, like so. Once that's done, we exit out of the Media Generators window and simply drag the generated media onto the length of the video, like so. Now, our next step is to go back to the Project Media tab and drag in the sound effect for the fire. So we'll take the sound effect and drag it down onto the second audio tab, like so. Once again, dragging the effect out to where it goes the entire length of our sample video. And now, since we're not actually going to be using the audio from the raw footage, we can simply right click in the video tab itself, or excuse me, the audio tab itself, and click on delete track. And that will make our template a lot less crowded with needless tracks. And the only reason that we added that track to begin with is because it automatically would have been added for any video that had audio originally included. Now for our final step, we want to put the fire footage into the timeline. So we take the fire footage and drag it down into the first video track, like so. Now as you can see, the fire engulfs the entire preview window and doesn't allow us to see anything else, but that's okay because we're going to fix that. We're going to simply time it out to where it lines up with the rest of our project, and this is why this effect cannot be performed in any version of Platinum, because the Platinum software does not offer this option, and that option is the compositing mode. So we want to click the compositing mode tab. Sorry, it wasn't exactly on it, the cursor. There we go. And we want to change it from sort to alpha to multiply mask. And as you can see, that allows the fire to multiply itself onto every track that we have here. Our overlay text, our video, raw footage, and our generated text media. And now to make sure we've done it right, we'll simply click on play from start. And there you go, the fire effect has been achieved. Now, for general purposes, in case something goes wrong, before we render, we'll save our project file. So we go to Save As. It defaults to the folder that I choose. Of course, your folder will be different depending on wherever you save your video projects. And I'll name it the same thing that I named it in the actual video itself. I'm on fire effect. Save. Now our project file is saved, so our next step is to actually render the video. So we go up here to File. Or actually, I forgot a step. Just to be safe, you want to loop region your video to make sure that it goes from beginning to end by clicking above all your tabs and creating a loop region like so. And actually, I started it a little late. Sorry, I accidentally moved the entire window there. I started the loop region a little late on the timeline, so to fix that we simply click again in the loop region area and we drag it out to the beginning. Now we go up here to File and Render As. I'll make a pause here so you guys don't actually have to watch the entire render. Okay, now that our render is complete, I will show you what the final project should look like here in VLC Media Player. So here's what your final project should look like after your render. And there you have it. As I said in the beginning, a very cool looking effect that it makes for an awesome video in general, but also very, very easy to do inside Sony Vegas Pro, not complicated at all. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. And also a reminder, as I said in the intro, and I've said a couple of times throughout this tutorial, this was my very first one, so if anyone has any suggestions on how to improve resolution, screen size, things like that, please leave them down below in the description box. And as always, this is reality according to the Razman. And Razman style, it's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.